stuck here in a dream. Back at the bottom of the ocean. I'm at the bottom of the sea. I'll stay down, down. I'm just stuck here in a dream. I'm at the bottom of the sea. I'll stay down, down. I'm just stuck here in a dream.
Freedom is the right of all sentient beings.
There's a lot of tough talk on Twitter, but there's not a lot of real talk.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Facebook Live. I've never heard of this shit.
This is a public service announcement from C.T. Fletcher. I will not contribute to the pussification of a nation. Get your punk ass out there and work for it, motherfucker.
Let's roll.
Morning, Sergeant Major.
How do you know what kind of goddamn day it is?
Beautiful morning, Sergeant Major.
Are you a fucking weatherman now?
You're listening to Sergeant's Time on WTF Nation Radio.
Weatherman. Broadcasting live on this 17 June 2021, 2021. 2021. Shit. Man, I fucked it up on Monday, Spanky.
I heard.
Oh, God. I got frazzled. Had some 17 June 2021. I'm Ice, your host. And in the gun, Spanky.
Hey, y'all.
Yeah. Man. Oh, God. So, let me tell you what happened one day. So I'm sitting there broadcasting, and I had all my shit going on, and you know, different browsers, and one of them decided that I had all my story tabs up on. One of them just decided just to restart on its own. So I was like, nah, Matt Damon. I didn't know what, I was like,
you know when I do the tech thing, I have no
yeah,
idea.
I was kind of like, what's going on with my...
Like you messed something up, or something messed you up.
Something messed me up. And, you know, normally, you know, I would just, I don't know, maybe I was just so comfortable with being, you know, just, I don't know, just doing some shit and just doing what I was doing. And then all of a sudden I was like, what the hell is going on with my system? Where are my stories at? And I started like clicking, and I'm like, all my stories and all the stuff that I had set up. I'm like, why do I do that? It's just usually when I set something up, it normally just fucks up. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking tonight, I'm just gonna say fuck it. Just roll with the punches. Just roll right through it. I seem to work better that way than, at least with an outline, because I really wanted to talk about some like political shit. To the point where Cos had to call in and was like, hey man, you alright? You know, I was like, fuck dude. And I was like, then I told him when we took a break, I was like, bro, I my shit just like went out. Just was like, they restarted and stuff. So yeah. So after that, I was like,
yeah, I know. I heard Cos call in. I'm like, hey, wait, it's Monday?
Yeah.
Why is Cos here?
Yeah, exactly. So
okay, I'm just, go with the punches. Roll with it.
Exactly
like,
that.
Hi, Cos.
Yeah.
On a Monday.
Yeah,
I didn't know Cos was alive on Mondays. I didn't know that's how it worked. Because I'm only alive like on Thursdays.
Right.
A little bit for Tuesdays because I always listen in.
Oh yeah, I gotta have we gotta listen to CQ, because CQ likes to like have these topics, and I'm thinking, just sitting there, no big deal, and all of a sudden he'll make a topic about Star Wars or something like that, or just some offshoot reference, and then I'm like trying to dial on my phone, like, I'm gonna call this freaking number right now, talking all this crap. But anyways, welcome everybody. I was hacked. Just don't cause another gas shortage. Oh, hey, what's up, Jason? What's up, Harker? What's up, Anthony? What's up, D-Max? Everybody, that's just Gary. My man, what's going on, everybody? Anthony, what, you gonna get promoted? Who's supposed to be getting promoted? What was it?
I was trying to get some orders for Anthony. And Randall.
And of course the obligatory Steven D's Nuts bitches. I gotta wait for the other part.
Gary and Chelsea, they're on our other Facebook page.
Yep.
Hello, guys.
Yeah, man. Everybody's in there. I was getting to that. Everybody
I'm sorry.
I was just rocking. I'm just moving along. So I'm just gonna jump right in it. So like just recently, just about a few hours ago, there was a federal holiday that was signed by the president, like immediately. I was like, holiday. And he signed, it was the Juneteenth National Independence Day Act into law, recognizing the historical significance of Juneteenth, National Independence Day, to the United States. and that the history should be regarded as a mean for understanding the past and solving the challenges of the future. It is actually a celebration to end stateless when slavery was finally done. It was over, right? And it is a holiday. Immediately, it wasn't a, hey, we're thinking about doing this holiday, No, it was like, I just signed it into law.
It is a federal holiday.
It is a federal holiday now, and as a matter of fact, when a federal holiday falls on a non-work day for a full-time employee of the government, then it is a day off. It's a freaking holiday, dude. So it falls on a Saturday, like as in, I don't know, this Saturday.
Yeah, this Saturday. Like
this Saturday, and so now everyone's like kind of clamoring, like, oh, what do we do with this? We got a freaking, it's a holiday. So
yes, it was signed.
Yeah, it was signed. So everyone's, there we go. So that's the thing. So if you guys just tell your chains of command, I hope everybody, everybody's got the, got the word out, that we're off, that everybody's off.
Well, no, and I think it should put the word out. Like, there's a new federal holiday and the reason behind it, because I never knew what Juneteenth was until I moved to Texas.
Yeah, see, like I
never knew.
Really, yeah, I was like I was telling you before. Growing up out west, it was kind of like there was a civil war. There was these dudes that fucking were seceded from the fucking, from the Union. We fucked them up. Juneteenth happened. Juneteenth was the day that slaves were freed, and that was the official. And we were fucking people up left and right who seceded from the Union. I mean, that's how matter of fact it was, and how important it was. But it was at least historical. So when I heard, I kind of assumed that everybody knew what Juneteenth was. I didn't.
Oh no, and like I said, I didn't know until I moved to Texas, like what it was. This was not taught in my history classes. Like, yeah, there was the Emancipation Proclamation and everything, but that word didn't get, it wasn't like they had Facebook or, Twitter or anything to get that word out immediately.
That's the new
or even TV or radio.
Yeah, exactly.
It was 2 years later when slavery finally ended in Texas, in the West, the West state.
Right.
Like when they finally got the word.
Yeah, it was, I'm glad. It's done. It's signed into law now. So I hope everybody has an automatic surprise day off. I know there's still some word delay getting out. I know there's guidance set for, because I know the DA civilians were like, oh, what, whoa, wait, So there's some fact sheets and stuff like that. If you go to opm.gov. And you will see the policy data oversight in the Juneteenth National Independence Day holiday PDF that's posted. That was a memorandum for all heads of executive department and agencies. So those are for all the DA civilians and GSs and all that, which is like pretty cool. I mean, that was it. That was like whip up a pen. Now, all in cash. We're still waiting on all in cash. No word on that. No word yet on all in cash. So
I guess we got to go up and talk to Biden ourselves.
I guess, yeah. I think I need to go ahead and do that. Abraham Lincoln needs a day off, but we already got the day off for it. Yeah, he does need it. Yep. So, God, it's just that was quick. That was really freaking quick.
It was. I mean, that's just it. It's like, okay, so they got, this administration got that done relatively, like, super fast. There's a lot of other things that have been on his plate. And yes, it got left over, not just from the prior administration, but for like the last 15 years worth of administration.
Right.
So
yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I've kind of like, well, I'll just be honest. The last administration signed a bunch of shit pretty quick too, just like this one's starting to do.
He did, and did everything to get Alwyn Cash his Medal of Honor,
right? Except
for actually awarding it.
Correct. Yeah, supporting it and all this other stuff. So that's another story that we'll get into as we progress. But still, yes, Alwyn Cash is still not. It's up to the Army right now. I guess the Army. Up to the White House. The Army's already done their part, and we're just waiting on it.
And the House and the Senate already did their part.
Yep.
Like they passed the law or whatever you want to call it, the act that allows the president to award it to him because of time constraints and all that bullshit that really didn't make any difference.
Right, exactly.
So they passed the laws for that, and I get what happened at the end of our previous administrations. Like there was a Supreme Court nominee, and that knocked everything back. And then, like, somebody decided to come throw some kind of bullshit party on the 6th of January. So, yeah, that was the rest of his administration dealing with that. So, I get it, but hey, Biden, like, let's sign this. Let's get this awarded.
Exactly. The way you said that. So somebody tried to throw a party. You ain't lying. That's a real visceral topic to discuss when you just start talking about that stuff. I mean, it was just kind of like going back and forth. It would just, hey, fucking, that fucking shit just threw everything out of whack.
It really did.
Everything.
Was like the rest of his administration was based on January 6th. Like, you can call it an insurrection, you can call it a protest, you can call it a riot. It just depends on how you look at it. I don't know. I wasn't there. So it was just some bullshit that went down.
Anthony really wants to be a specialist. Do you realize that Morgan from the J1 Hour J1 listens to Sergeant's Time to make sure she kind of like looks at my shit to make sure also that I'm not putting out bad Army crap.
Right.
One time I didn't tell you about.
I did put out some bad Army crap.
And Morgan jumped in. Yeah, and Morgan jumped in our shit. Not jumped in our shit, but she sent us chats like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I think it's hilarious. Exactly that, Jason. It's long overdue. This needs to be presented time now. They've expedited others. Exactly that. That's a good point. That is a good point. Is that and here's what I'm hearing on how Colonel Puckett had his order, his medal awarded. It was because he was friends with Jimmy Carter, and they had a visit. That's what the streets are saying. But
you're talking about the most recent one, and I'm like,
right.
I wasn't mad about that. He's still alive,
right?
And I think that means something. Like, would rather award it to an actual soldier instead of awarding it to them, their family posthumously. So I wasn't mad about that. It wasn't. I'm not even mad that our peanut farmer president would had a hand in it. Like, it has to be worth something to be a living former president.
Right. Right.
Like, you got to have some say. You got to have a little pull.
Right. Exactly. So he wants to get promoted. Anthony wants to get promoted. So first off, is it like automatic for promotions from PFC to special? I think it is.
They changed those rules so often.
Yeah.
Like, I was stuck in the PFCIC days
right.
when you had
exactly.
there was no waivers.
You
had to wait your 26 months.
Right. PFCs actually have to work more than lieutenants to get their promotion, and it's automatic. Yeah, it sucks. I know. Hang in there, man. But anyways, let's see what we got going on. Army news. Hey, real quick. All right. Did you see that? Or I'm just gonna bust out and say it. Did you see that freaking article by the AP that Jim Laporte and gang did? Dude. Oh my God. It is insane. I mean, we're talking thousands of fucking weapons that are missing. We're talking. Here's my thing that
how? Sorry about
that. No, that's what I'm saying. It is some stolen guns. I mean, it is insane. If you guys have not seen the story or not seen the link from the AP and just look stolen weapons, how some stolen U.S. military guns are used in crimes. There was like freaking statuses and stacks of documents that for like the first public accounting of its time, the AP busted out this breaking news that at least 1,900 military firearms were lost or stolen during the 2010s. It's funny how you gotta say 2010s. During the tens period.
The teens.
The teen, yeah. And with some resurfacing in violent crimes because some of the services have suppressed the release of basic information. Dude, do you not freaking cyclic inventory, bro?
I mean, how many times have I had to enter an arms room? I don't understand how this happened. Like, I personally, like, from what I see in all the supply chain, how this happened. As many times as I have had, I have had to go out on a hands across Fort Leonard Wood.
Great, Gary just said, "Fuck it, lock down America. It's time, hands across America." You ain't lying, brother. Oh
like
man!
I said, I had to do the hands across Fort Leonard Wood for just the spoons from like the CS grenades because we lost one. Just the little, what you pull and you have to turn all those in.
Yeah.
And And I'm like, and that's not going to kill anybody. I guess I could stab someone in the throat with it. But, like, how are weapons just, that many of them just missing? I mean, you see it all the time.
Fuck,
people doing hands across whatever post.
Okay,
something is missing.
I'm gonna give the WTF Nation a kind of like a, and we only do this once in a while, so you got to make sure you hear this. Anytime you see a post on the main page that talks about an experimental MRE, what do you think? What do you think that is when we post something? You know, the comments are hilarious when we make posts like that.
People like, when do we get some new MRE?
Exactly. Exactly. No, the conspiracy theories come out every time we post one up. Some like Alex Jones fuckers come out and go, the military's testing out new MREs on their soldiers, and it's gonna, this is why they don't want to get the vaccine. It's fucking hilarious. You post an experimental MRE, and everyone's like, oh, what kind of food is it? Is it what somebody said, is it the chimichanga MRE? It's fucking hilarious.
Christopher, he says there was a lost computer, and we had an entire lockdown over that. And I've been there too. It was like S2 couldn't find a laptop. I was like, holy shit. I literally left the building. I'm like, let me get my kid from daycare and do this and this because I know what's about to happen.
Yep.
And sure as shit it did. So I literally heard the whispers because, S2 and S3 are really close together.
Exactly.
And I'm like, oh, I'll be right back. I just told my husband I literally picked up my kid from daycare and took her to her overnight care because I knew what was about to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's over a laptop.
Well, see, that's the thing. It is the government records covering the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, and Air Force show that pistols, machine guns, and shotguns and automatic rifles just like vanished from armory, supply houses, and Navy warships. Navy warships. How the hell do you freaking
throw them overboard?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, where do you take them?
I mean, if you find out that I'm kind of like, okay, if you find out that a weapon is missing and if you're out to sea and you're underway, it's pretty fucking easy to figure out. Can you not like search the ship or some shit, or what is it that you can do to lock down, hands across the boat, whatever you want.
I mean, I would think it'd be easier to find something missing on a boat than it would be like at the back 40 at Campbell.
Right. Exactly. Weapons have disappeared because of unlocked doors, sleeping troops, a surveillance system that didn't work, break-ins, and other security lapses that until now have not been publicly reported. Is unreal. I'm thinking about just going ahead and I'm going to screen cap this fucking article because I'm going to show the insanity of this freaking graph that Jim Laporta and crew did, and you're gonna be like, damn. Hang on, let me grab this here and oops, that's the wrong one. I almost posted up another freaking. I'm posting up some bad stuff. I got memes and shit up there. I don't want to fucking like piss off the audience. They're like, oh, show the memes. There we go. Because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show the graph.
Okay.
I'm going to show the graph to the audience. Hell, I might even play the video that's in there too. Fuck it. Might as well, right? So.
I mean, you're in charge. We can do what we want here.
Indeed. Okay, let me go to window cap mode. Standing by. Window cap mode activated. And then there we go. So I'm looking at the window cap right there so we can go over this. We can all like sit and, just have some, arts and crafts. our arts and crafts with the window cap. There we go. So what we'll do is we'll do this and we'll ship it like that, and then there we go. So here we go. I'm gonna do this like that. So there, much better. So rifles right there. See, there's the graph where you can just see right there the amount of rifles topping the list of military weapons from 2010 to 2019. Fuck, dude, that's almost 10 fucking years. Look at all that shit.
Like, what happened before then?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Like,
so
let's go back a few more years.
So even elite,
like especially around that 0305 time,
exactly.
when the whole army had no fucking clue what they were doing at all.
Even elite units are not immune. Former members of the Marine Special Operation Units got busted for 2 weapons. 2 stolen guns. The Navy SEAL lost his pistol during a fight in a restaurant in Lebanon. What the fuck were they doing in a restaurant? On Tuesday, in the wake of the AP investigation, Army Secretary Christine Wormuth told a hearing on the Senate Arms Committee that she would be open to new oversight and weapons accountability. That's just crazy, dude. That is just freaking wow.
I don't get it. I really don't. Ugh.
Well, they're just talking about how easy it is, and you know, some of the stuff too isn't that difficult to kind of like if you have, because there are some like weapons immersion training, so where like a soldier can have it, but this one
like jump over a fence and hijack a bus.
Right.
Yes,
yeah, you know, funny that you mentioned that. As a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and put that graph. I'll put that graph right there in front of everybody so they can see that. You know what I mean? The there you go. That scene right there where the kid freaking got the from Fort Jackson and jumped out and hijacked a school bus, and you're like, holy shit.
I mean, but that was still. I mean, that was just what he had right there was just a piece of metal.
Right.
It's not firing anything. It's not this. It's not that. But I still don't understand. Like as soon as this came up and this kid was missing, and it was his weapon that was missing too. Like they knew which weapon it was, probably by serial number. You know, because every time I took my weapons out of the armor room in Basic 2, you know, I could probably recite that serial number now. But I can't. I started with 5. But, like, they know, like, where that weapon is. It's with this kid that hopped the fence. So I don't understand how this many weapons could be missing. Especially because as many times as I've been on the duty roster, desensitive items inventory.
Right. Let me.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I literally cannot comprehend it.
Right. I'm going to play the AWOL videos that Jim Laporta. So this of course video courtesy of AP, and I told Jim Laporta today we would talk about it, and he was busy. I tried to get him to come on tonight, and he's got stuff going on. So so let's sit down here, Arts and Crafts movie night, and let's watch this movie.
The U.S. military has several million firearms at bases worldwide. Rifles and pistols, machine guns, shotguns, grenades and grenade launchers. Keeping track of them all is no easy task, whether it's with handwritten ledgers or modern technology. And yet, an Associated Press investigation has found that, despite those measures, some guns still end up on America's streets, used in shootings and robberies. In many cases, weapons that have been lost or stolen are never found. To understand how this can happen, it's important to know how the military handles its guns. I have some first-hand experience in this area. That's me, James Laporta. I was a Marine sergeant and infantryman for 8 years on active duty, with 2 deployments to Afghanistan. First thing to know, the military stores its guns in armories and arms rooms. These fortified facilities are surrounded by fences topped with razor wire and have reinforced doors and alarm systems. Inside, in racks, cages, and cabinets, sit hundreds of firearms. This is also where the high-tech military meets low-tech record-keeping. In the Marines, for example, each unit member gets paper rifle cards signed by their commander. Each card identifies the type of weapon and accessories that they are allowed to check out, such as rifle scopes. The armory custodian takes the card, hands over the weapon, and in some units, the handoff is logged in a ledger or receipt. Service members get their rifle cards back when they return the gun after the weapon is cleaned. The military also uses other, more modern techniques, such as barcodes that are scanned each time a weapon is handed out. When an armory opens and closes, there's a visual count of each weapon. A monthly inventory is taken to match serial numbers on each item with a list of what is supposed to be there. It is a cardinal sin to lose a weapon. If one vanishes, an entire base can be shut down while there's a hunt for the gun. Investigative records obtained by the AP show troops sleeping on the job, unsecured buildings, inventories not completed, and missing or destroyed records. In some cases, the armory custodian is part of a conspiracy to steal guns. The Pentagon says it has excellent accountability of weapons and takes any losses very seriously because they represent a national security concern. But officials cannot say how many guns have vanished. In some cases, the military doesn't know that one of its weapons is gone until days, months, or even years later.
Man, that's some deep stuff right there. That's for a shout out to to the Associated Press and Jim Laporta. That was Jim Laporta's voice right there. But yeah, it's like it's insane, dude. I mean, Pookie, that's a good point, Pookie. You know, the next time the government tells me how to handle my firearms, I'm going to mention this.
I mean,
good point.
Like, so many things in my head, like right now, should probably not come out of my mouth. But,
oh my God.
He's not wrong.
No, he's not. So awesome reporting from Jim Laporta and the crew over at the Associated Press, man. Again, this is some good stuff. So I'm gonna, matter of fact, I think I'm gonna just drop the link inside the chats, because this is something that I think the fans need to check out. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely, I agree.
So let me go ahead and just drop that in the chat. There we go. Hopefully that's the right one. Yeah, there you go. I was about to say I didn't want to. There we go. So, there we go. Bob says, I have a funny story about a lost weapon from my basic training days. Oh, really? Like what? What happened? Did you lose it? Was it you that lost the weapon? What was it? What happened in the stuff? So the story's inside all the chats of all the platforms right now. So if you're listening to us on either or of the platforms we have, then of course Twitch, YouTube, Periscope, Facebook's, then you're good to go. Then just check it out there. But anyways. This is crazy, and the reason why it's nuts is the fact that all these weapons that are gone, they're gone. They are missing. How?
Like, where are they?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Where the fuck are they? Where are these weapons? Statement of charges. Fucking. You know what happens? Because I know there were some Marines that were suspended for toxic leadership, but at the same time they lost weapons too. These was it 2-6 Marines out of oh, hang on, someone's gonna give us a call here and give us a buzz. Hang on for a second. Let's see. Whoa, WTF Nation Radio, you're on the air.
Yeah, just Mom Bob, I was telling you about that story.
Oh yeah, what's up, man?
Basic.
Oh, hi, Bob.
Yeah, I had a weapon, and mine broke, so they issued me another one for one day. So, okay, end of basic training. I got to clean that other weapon. Great. So, Saturday, I'm all by myself. I got to clean it. I get it done. I go back to the arms room. It's locked, closed. Guy's gone. So, great. Go back to the barracks, go to the drill sergeant, say, hey, arms room closed. He said, so, what do I do with this? And I boxed the weapon on his desk. His eyes about popped out of his head. And there was some major ass chewing that went on over that. When I finally, Monday, I got to turn the weapon back in, that armor, he was ready to kill me, but it was his fault. Nothing I did. But that was just so funny looking at him. I know he had gotten his ass chewed so badly.
Oh, man. You know, so did you get in trouble for it, though?
No, I did exactly what I was supposed to do. I brought it back and reported
it. So when was this? When, I mean, was this? This wasn't like too far long. How long ago was this?
Oh no, this is a long time ago. It was basic training, Fort Leonard Wood, 1979.
1979. Oh man. Wow, dude, you're like that's.
Oh, Bob, you're on Team Old with us.
I was about to say you're on the.
We're not quite. Yeah. I'm not quite up there, but yes, you're on there, Bob.
Yeah, you're just like 1 year from the '80s that where I've joined. So I got you, man. You know, but back, you know, I think it was taken. Do you think that it was more? Do you think it was more? It was taken more seriously back in the day when it came to weapons handling.
I don't know. I mean, that was basic training, and so much other stuff was going on.
No, I got you. That's cool. All right, man.
I think it was better accounted for back then.
Yeah. Well, shit, dude. I'm about to say, everyone's asking if you're his dad. You're their dad. Are you my dad? Baconator says, "Are you his dad?" All right, Bob. Hey, thanks for the call, man.
Okay, bye.
All right, have a good one. You know, that's a good question too. You go ahead and say that, Spanky, if you want to say it. Fuck it.
I mean, I just really didn't feel like that was something It wasn't like all these weapons you missing. When I think about it, were not as far fetched as I originally was thinking. Because I'm thinking just like from my perspective of how we handled weapons, spoons, anything. Robinson got a whole ass body out of an arms room and nobody noticed. So yeah, I'll say that.
Yeah. No,
I
you're
didn't
right.
really want to, but
No, you're right.
yeah.
No, you're right. That's the accountability of the weapons and all that stuff. Vanessa Guillen was murdered inside
Like
an
if
arms
he
room.
could pull a whole little ass tough box out, like what else could have been in there?
Right.
And like, it disgusts me to think like that, but that's literally the thought that popped to my mind. I'm like, oh well.
No, that's understandable.
Pretty much accountable items, everybody.
No. Well, no. You know what I'm saying? Soldiers are our sensitive items too. You know what I mean? They should be considered. Richard Branco said that I was like I talk like we're 80s. Everybody knew I was before Christ when I joined the army. No, I wasn't. Well, anyway, so.
No, but like I mean that it's just like he could pull a whole person out of an arms room. So I guess missing weapons out of an arms room aren't that far fetched.
No, I got you.
And I think that kind of like goes into our renaming.
It goes to a lot of things. It goes to first off, it goes to the renaming, and also goes to that fucking that woman that confessed to killing Vanessa Guillen.
Oh,
Did you?
yes.
Okay, dude, this pisses me off, man. Is a judge denied a request to suppress the confession of a woman who accused of helping kill and dismember Vanessa Guillen. I'm gonna tell you what. You fucking blabbed, and now all of a sudden you want to say no, you want to do it because you didn't think your fucking Miranda rights are fucking read? Bullshit.
Yeah, bullshit.
Bullshit.
And I'm glad the judge decided, like, no, you're still, like, you're still here. You're still going to fucking get charged. She's still charged, and there were so many protests and everything up there. Oh, it was insane.
So U.S. District Judge Alan Albright actually rejected to throw away and toss Cicely Ann Aguilar's confession after 2.5 hours of testimony on Wednesday, and her lawyer Louis Beret Gaynor argued that the police deliberately violated the law by waiting to give her Miranda rights until she confessed. The Aguilar helped specialist Aaron Robinson kill and dismember and dispose Vanessa Guillen in nearby woods, federal and state investigators said. Robinson killed himself on July 1st, the day Vanessa Guillen's remains were found near the Leon River in Bell County. The remains were identified as Guillen's on July 26th. Two of the investigators who heard Aguilar's confession initially took the stand at the hearing on Wednesday. And I'm not even going to put this bitch's picture up. A Texas Ranger and a Waco police officer and of the federal task force investigating Vanessa Guillen's April 20th disappearance detailed the conversation recorded in the interrogation room. U.S. Attorney Mark Frazier played some video clips of the confession in a wrapped courtroom and shows that Aguilar outlined the gruesome details of Guillen's slaying, and also she helped officers by reaching out to Robinson, the suspected killer, via cell phone. Yeah. Whatever. I get the reason why Miranda rights are a thing, but like, who doesn't know that? Like, my kid knows what Miranda rights are, right?
But like, you already told all this business, and you can't just like, oh, well, nobody told me I had the right to me, so yeah, fuck you.
Well, yeah,
it just pisses me off, and I am glad that the judge threw out that motion. And trust me when I say, because I do live here locally, that like the protests, I don't want to say protests, the gatherings were there just to make sure that everybody knew that nobody has forgotten Guillen or forgotten her part in it, because that could have been like, let's just say she totally was just, Robinson told her what happened. She could have brought that up 2 months prior. So yeah, fuck her.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to hear that shit. Everyone can complain all they want. Nah.
No, and that's exactly it. It's like she had all this time, only she could have brought that up, and if like the first time like let's say she had nothing to do with it until like Robinson told her, like that's the minute you should have like called the cops, MPs.
Yeah, that whole
like Biden. You could have called him. I'm sorry.
No. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, we're not playing devil advocate for her either. We're just like, you know, because it was a pretty charged event, and
absolutely,
and that whole fucking thing, the whole discussion. Chelsea says that omissions still count. So, it's just gonna be a fucking. I'll be honest with you. Robinson killed himself before he could fucking take the stand, and so you know, she helped do it, and she and I mean I don't like to make the tie-in to the arms room thing, but maybe was there a lack of accountability in those arms room to where maybe now at this point arms room entrances could have to be done by two people or something like that. You know what I mean?
We can at least have some cameras.
Right.
This is 2021.
Right.
You can buy one on Amazon in like 5 minutes.
You know, I was trying to find the fucking Fort Hood report as we were talking about this, because I didn't have time, because it just hit me. It was like, hey, I wonder if we can like fucking go through and find you know, what some of the deets about if is part of the recommendations of the Fort Hood report, where the arms. I don't remember seeing arms room in there, arms room procedure. Everything else I saw in there, but I don't.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing that either, and I did read it.
Yeah.
Because that's definitely something, like, for instance, because, you know, I've been in the Fort Hood area for many, many years. And I worked at 21st Replacement. I did do that for a couple of years. At the 21st Replacement Barracks, we had cameras. That's not a normal thing. You know, there's not cameras in every hallway in the barracks. But we did at 21st Replacement because there were so many issues. You know, and that's what, you know, staff duty did, was watch the cameras. And it wasn't like, you know, oh, there was no curfew, there was no this, there was no that, but there was a lot of issues, and cameras helped with that. So I'm like, why? I mean, are there not cameras on every arms room? I know there are alarms, and like if you open the door when you shouldn't be opening the door, or
right.
or whatever.
I'm trying to remember if I remember being a first sergeant, and I don't remember cameras being on any of the arms rooms of the companies that I was in. You know what I mean?
No, me either.
I don't remember. You know what I mean? I don't remember
anywhere I've been on staff duty. I know I got to go check and make sure it's locked.
Right.
My initial little thing that I checked the door, but I don't remember any cameras.
Right. I don't remember any. Well, I remember the ones like at the staff duty ones, like that's got like a picture of the building, and that's taking a view of the building. Pookie said that it was probably I'm sorry, it would be no, I'm sorry, it was Baconator said that it was probably one of those cameras that only film Bigfoot and UFOs, though, all blurry and shit. You notice that? It's like we could get really good crisp pictures of other shit, but when it comes to, you know what I mean, when it comes to other stuff, we can't even fucking get a good view of UFOs or Bigfoot. You know, like they're trying to have like did you see this, there was this article about how the DOD is now saying that there might be UFOs and all that stuff, and they're like thinking, oh hell yeah, we have the top type of cameras to look at this shit. Here's the footage, and I'm like, where's the UFO? I mean, I'm expecting to hear I want to see some fucking X-wings or TIE fighters or some shit. I want to see some, you know what I mean? I want to see some UFOs, not just something that look like when my eyes are all freaking blurry because they're glassed over and shit, and I'm like, this sucks. So yeah, the cameras aren't really good on the on some of these facilities either. I gotta dig through the Fort Hood report and find out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back through that too and see if there was anything referencing the arms room procedures.
Well, I'm sure after this
sure
this report, there's gonna be some reportage of the arms procedures. Grant says that arms procedures were in the report as first a major violation, but the unit didn't enforce. Key control was generally really poor. Yeah, see, it was just like
key control has been generally really poor.
Yeah, see So the unit enforced. See, that's the thing. I don't remember seeing something about surveillance or opening up or witnessing type of stuff. Because, you know, back at, hey, I used to tell my supply kit or armor, hey, you know, have the arms room open up at this time. Roger for Sergeant, and they fucking would shoot me a text. Arms room open. And then so-and-so signed out so many weapons, and so-and-so signed out so many weapons. Arms room closed. And then keys returned to you know, battalion. You know what I mean? It was like real, That's how we used to do it. That's fucking,
Yes.
so.
I mean, even our safe, like let me go back to like an orderly room day. Even our safe in the orderly room, it's like you had to have 2 people to open it. Or when I worked in a PSB and you were on ID cards, like you couldn't just open the safe by yourself.
Right.
Like this is just get ID cards out.
Right.
Which of course, like you can see why that's like a sensitive type item. And I'm like, how was no money there with them? And yeah, I'm trying to think back. I'm like, I remember Armstrong kids being in there just by themselves, but I don't ever remember them being in the open arms room just by themselves.
Yeah, I gotta look. I gotta look at it again because I'm curious because when the report came out, and me and you were like going over it. I don't remember seeing that. So that right there, of course, is obviously changed. Speaking of which, Fort Hood is we only got like 10 minutes and stuff to talk about. We can talk about other shit before we talk about the other about the renaming and the commission and all that. What was the other one that we were going to talk about? Shit, hang on, let me go back up here and look at this.
We suck at planning. We said we were we have a plan.
No, we have a plan to plan, and we're just doing it. Remember, I fucking told you, man. I told you that I wasn't gonna plan shit because you know what? The show's been going pretty fucking quick with me not fucking having an outline out and my shit not crashing. You know what I mean? Here's what it is. Here, let me drop this in here. This is something we were talking about brain trusts or something like that. We were talking about the Sergeant Major of the Army doing some sort of a panel and stuff, like finding new ways to fix old problems. And I was kind of like, so Sergeant of the Army, more than 150 sergeants majors gathered for 3 days this week to tackle problems such as suicide, sexual assault, racism, and extremism. One potential idea involves analyzing data on when and where sexual assaults happen in the barracks, and perhaps placing first sergeants on duty during those time slots to combat the problem. And that proposal is far from approved, but it just shows that Army leaders are analyzing issues that have plagued service for years. Yeah, I know. I can see you, Spanky. I can see you. How this enlisted brain trust plans to fix small units will be accountable for those fixes must be delivered to the top enlisted leader Thursday. So Sergeant of the Army Michael Griston spoke with media on Wednesday, along with 4 command sergeants major, the senior enlisted forum held at Fort Eustis, Virginia, and will task sergeants major to explain their next steps for when they take these ideas back to the units. Now, these are same enlisted leaders that must track whether the solutions are working or share the results across the Army. And he said, what's the new idea that you're going to come out with? Brief me in the forum. He asked the participants. He's like, if the solution isn't working, adjust fire. So what we don't want to do, and this, we don't want to wait to look at this year from now, is what he wants to do. He just quoted that, which fucking makes sense. Right. We don't want to wait to look at this a year from now, is what he doesn't want to do. So the event follows the People's First Solarium. That sounds like that's like New Age shit. Hi, welcome to the People First Solarium. Here's your yoga mat.
I'm here for a spray tan.
I'm here. What is your sign? I'm sign 69. I'm Army Zodiac 69er. It was held in March at West Point at the United States Military Academy, and that effort brought soldiers. I'm just messing around, guys. It's a good initiative. Brought soldiers across the Army with less than 3 years in service to the Academy. And these young soldiers looked at 3 problems or areas in the Army: racism, extremism, sexual assault, and suicide. 6 soldiers stationed in Alaska have died by a suicide between January and May. From 2014 to early 2019, at least 11 soldiers committed suicide at Fort Wainwright, Alaska alone. Damn, dude.
Okay, first of all, we have to get away from, I believe we have to get away from, the sergeant major or the first sergeant should be able to fix this. They literally can't do that by themselves. No. And stop with that zero defect mentality that if someone fucks up in your unit and it's somehow your fault.
Right.
All of these soldiers are adults.
Right.
We need to get away from that first and stop thinking that just the sergeant majors and the first sergeants can fix all of these issues. That is the first step. Sergeant Major of the Army needs to stop with this. Oh, let me get all these senior leaders together and we can figure out how to fix sharp. or we can figure out how to fix suicide. That's not it. I don't want to say that it doesn't surprise me that Wayne rate has like a higher suicide rate, but seasonal depression is a real thing.
Yeah, no.
So it doesn't surprise me that they have a higher rate.
Well, we talked about this before, how it doesn't work when you have, because we talked about this. Shit, we talked about this years ago. When we talked about that soldier.
We talked about this several times.
Yeah, several times. About that kid at Fort Campbell who was in the barracks, and he everyone suspected of him being gay. This was back before Don't Ask, Don't Tell was repealed.
Yes.
And they suspected of him being gay. He was gay, but he didn't say anything about it, and they beat the fuck out of him with a baseball bat. And the staff, there was a staff duty that just like checked in and everyone was good, and then he left, and then that's it. You know what I mean? It was just like it is freaking. Chelsea's got a good point. It starts at the team leader level. See, I don't think a first sergeant
it starts at the soldier level.
Right. I don't think a sergeant major or a fucking first sergeant hanging out in the fucking barracks is gonna do shit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely not. It is gonna make everything worse.
Right.
And like I said, me personally, because I was a soldier much longer than I was a leader in the military. Like, stop thinking that putting mom or dad there is gonna fix shit, because it's not.
Right.
Like, I need the senior leadership to they're not the ones that are going to be able to fix this. Like, the soldiers need to be able to feel like they can really come forward with any issues they have that would lead to the control part of sexual assault,
right,
or the depression part that would lead to suicide.
Right.
Like, they need to stop, because even okay, look at it this way. It is ingrained from day one. My nephew could not join the military because when he was 10, he was on ADHD medicine, and this, had some issues.
Right.
So it is, recruiters are the ones that are telling kids, you don't bring this up, you don't say this, you don't, yeah. So it starts from them before they even join.
Right. Well, I see what you're saying. It's oh, that's a good point, because I'll be honest with you. If you're talking about having sexual assault and a sexual harassment happen in the barracks, tear down the fucking barracks and put everybody off post.
Yeah, that'll solve it. You don't
Because
need to put cameras up like we did.
Well, I mean, it's not gonna.
It won't happen in the fucking barracks.
Well, here's the thing, and I expressed this before to some other leaders, is that if you do that and a soldier lives off post and there was a sexual assault, the soldier can at least call the fucking cops. And the cops can go at the local law enforcement can handle that at that level, and then the military can handle it afterwards. Because I guarantee it. I mean, there's been incidences, and I've had fucking friends that are leaders that said, hey, they told me, hey, okay, well, what am I supposed to do with a soldier? What am I supposed to do with this? There's been, a soldier walks in, they get assaulted in their barracks room, and then a sharp NCO gets involved. What the fuck is up with that shit? You know what I mean? And Gary says that when he was younger, the first sergeants came in like it was cockroaches in the light.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I've lived in the barracks many years in my Army career, and nope.
Those aren't the
the bed. And there's no first sergeant.
Right. Exactly. I don't think that having barracks, just to get rid of the barracks. You don't fucking manage them anyways. All that fucking money that we go into all these fucking programs, how about you unfuck the barracks first? But if you're not going to fucking do that, then at least get rid of the barracks. Get rid of the barracks.
Privatize the fucking barracks like we do housing.
Right. Oh, yeah,
bingo.
The
soldiers have an option.
Yeah.
They want to live right next to fucking work, and they get BAH, and part of their BAH goes to pay for their fucking barracks round.
And what's
just get rid of it all.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm down for that.
Yeah. Because what's funny is that
you can let a lieutenant live off post. You can let a goddamn specialist live off post.
Unless they're in freaking school status or something like that, and you have them living in fucking housing. But the thing is that the government is already paying. They're already every single soldier that lives on an installation has their fucking BAH paid to them and then taken out to provide the fucking housing right there, which is a fucking racket to begin with.
Oh no, and that was a racket because it made social services not have to pay out as much money.
Right.
That's what happened. Everybody got cut off. All of the lower ranking soldiers, oh no, you make this much money. They lived in housing, and before they didn't make that much money. They make the same amount of money, but now you no longer qualify for
Think about the fucking.
That's what happens.
Think about the fucking. Right. But think about the fucking burnout, Spanky, of a first sergeant that now, think about this, now has to worry about making sure that the unit's fucking trained, make sure PT's happening, make sure the fucking NCOs, you're doing the fucking, make sure you're training, you're fucking there, you're visiting training, you're doing the mentoring, you're doing all the first sergeanting that you're doing during the fucking day, and then now you have a requirement. On top of your QTB, on top of your USR, your SATBs, your fucking PERSTAT, your other fucking bullshit that your CSM might throw down at you, now you got to visit the barracks, and you have to spend all fucking night. You witness an incident, and now what? You're there for like 2-3 fucking hours, and it's like midnight, and guess what? You got to do the whole fucking shit over again. Why raise somebody else's fucking kids like that? Some of it is, like you said, soldiers coming in. I think what it is that we're afraid to fucking process soldiers out that need to get processed the fuck out. They don't know, they don't not need to be in the fucking service, and I guarantee it, a lot of the problems will go away. That's why I say, just tear down the fucking barracks. Make them all live off post. So if there's some, because the Army, CID, it's already proven in the Fort Hood report, can't do fucking shit for a soldier that's been assaulted on post. They're already fucking bogged down to begin with.
That is exactly what I brought up to my branch sergeant major when I had to reclass, right? When I reclassed to 74 Delta, like the branch sergeant major came and like brought all of us NCOs in that were there reclassing. Like, well, what should we do better? I'm like, do y'all not know how to chapter anybody out on a chapter goddamn 11?
Right.
Because not only soldiers should be fucking soldiers, he literally told me to my face, the Army's already put so much money into this. We are not kicking any of them out. They're going to their units. And I'm like, okay, so you could just chapter them out right now for failure to adapt. But no, you're going to make them go to a unit. They have to build a packet for like 6 to 8 months at the minimum to put this soldier out that you could do it pretty much with just a signature right now. Like,
right.
They don't want to be here.
Right. No, you're right.
And you have a like failure to adapt chapter that takes like one signature. And that's when I like literally thought like, this is why the Army's so fucked up right here. Because not everybody that joins can adapt.
Nope.
That's why they had that chapter. We had like 3 people in my base that get kicked out for that.
Right.
And they were just like, fine, bye. It wasn't for me.
There's nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong with chaptering a soldier out we have to. We have
uncharacterized discharge.
Right.
It's nothing gonna hurt that kid. It just wasn't for them.
You know,
I think that should be used more.
You bring up a good point. Is some of the stuff. You know how we what was it? What was that one fucking joke that we had? Let's break out that stripper, Destiny Justice. Well, now we have Warrior Justice. The main page posted Warrior Justice, and it was a listing of Article 15s, and just crazy shit that's on. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna post some of the stuff that this is just in from February to April 2021, and you see court-martial sexually assaulted civilian on post. Was sentenced to imprisonment for 2 years, a dishonorable discharge, reduction to E1. I mean, you can just see assaulted his wife and violated COVID ROM orders, was sentenced to imprisonment for 30 fucking days, reduction to E1, forfeiture, also discharged with other than honorable. I'm gonna tell you what, man. This is what needs to happen. Don't be fucking scared, leaders. Your soldiers are fucking up, and they're fucking doing some shit in the barracks, and they're like tearing them up or running like asses. You don't need fucking guard. This is what the UCMJ was designed for, to enforce good order and discipline.
Exactly.
So if you start seeing the message here that old First Sergeant Ramos and First Sergeant Spanky is like, oh shit, we're gonna fucking do these First Sergeants are fucking killing, or First Sergeant Towns. We're like, they're like just dropping soldiers left and right. We got plenty.
This is exactly why Article 15s and court-martial findings were posted.
Right.
They were posted like in your common areas.
Right.
I remember that as a young soldier. I'm like, oh well, I better not do that.
Yeah, I guess
I like my money.
Yeah, exactly. I guess this is what happens when you do that. Now you were talking about separations, Spanky.
Yeah.
There was a separation with 39 total in this organization, Warrior Justice. Captain used cocaine. First lieutenant used cocaine, MDMA, and he was sleeping. and Gomar was permanently fired, and he was discharged less than honorable characterization of service. A sergeant sexually harassed another sergeant and fraternized with a junior enlisted soldier. Fucking discharge and less than honorable characterization of service. That's what needs to fucking happen. You want to fucking stop that shit? Let's just start fucking running buckshot on fuckers like that. Stop wasting your fucking time. Stop using this as a fucking welfare program and get them the fuck out. If that's the standards that we're trying to say we're trying to enforce, then fucking do it. First sergeant made inappropriate sexual comments to junior enlisted soldiers and exhibited counterproductive leadership. Of Gomar was permanently fired in his fucking record. Well, guess what? See ya. There goes the QMP. Wouldn't want to be ya.
And I see the comments when, the main page posts these, and they think that a lot of the punishments are
harsh.
Not harsh. I want to say they're different between officers and enlisted. And I do want to say that, putting an enlisted soldier out up to, sergeant major, it can take me 5 minutes. It doesn't work that way for officers, so that's why, when they get discharged, it's a little different. If you, there's a whole regulation for both of them. It is just very easy to put a private out than it is a lieutenant.
Right. Now, you think the process is because of them being commissioned and being enlisted is different, though, right? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Because their commission doesn't come just from, they're raising the right hand. There's lots of steps.
Right.
So it's very easy to get a soldier out.
Yeah,
I did my own chapter packet when I was getting out for family care plan.
Right.
And I'm I was out in less than 10 days.
Yeah,
it doesn't work that way for officers.
Yeah, well,
so I don't think it's soldiers are getting harsher punishments. It's just easier to impose those punishments.
Right. Well, I think that stuff like that, though. Chelsea said that they're supposed to be posted in the company area. You're right, they are supposed to be, but for some reason, people are now saying it's that you can't do that. You're I guess it's embarrassing or some shit, or it's gonna.
Yeah, but we always redacted who it was.
Well, this right here.
The point of posting it is so don't do this.
Right, warrior justice right there. Now look, if you got 7 court-martials, 39 separations, 8 reprimands, and 41 non-judicial punishments, and a fucking prison sentence in a pear tree, then guess what?
And this is just one brigade level, right?
Right, this is just one brigade.
Exactly.
So guess what? Fucking A, post it. To let soldiers know. You know what's really funny though? I'm starting to see soldiers that were all shit talking their fucking leaders on social media, like on Twitter and Facebook and all that, now have to face their fucking leaders face to face, and it's I've seen some awkward exchanges personally because they're all not coming back, and I had to pick a friend up, to do some shit, and hey, I need to get a ride, but I need to go talk to one of my soldiers. And I stopped. I'm like, hey, what's going on? It gets out, and I guess there was an exchange where they had something on Facebook and like to talk some ass and think they're all big and chingon and all this other shit. Man, and I was like, what's happening? I was like, just some instances where soldiers, and this individual was an officer, so it wasn't like a fucking NCO, it was an officer. I guess there were some junior officers that like to talk shit to other officers, and their senior, their raiders, and the hammer came. I was just an ass chewing. He's like, better you should fucking watch your mouth on goddamn social media, and blah, 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 blah. And, yes, sir, It's fucking funny. But my point being is that this is right here. This is the example. I posted on fucking Facebook. Okay, fine. Hey, here's what's going on here. I mean, you're gonna have some bleeding hearts saying, "Oh, you're humiliating somebody."
I think all the NSCs are doing this. I know a lot of them do.
Right.
Post it. There is no PII in any of this. It's a LT, it's a sergeant, it's a corporal. Right. Unless you know these people personally, you have no idea who these people are.
Or yeah, if you first sergeant. Yep. If you were aware, exactly. If you were aware, yeah, for real. We're gonna take a break right quick, and then we'll be back with some more stories in army stuff. We'll probably be ranting some more. Because
it's a very rantish.
It's a very ranting day. I'm drinking Bustelo Frio tonight, so yes, that's why it seems like I'm hyper. Yes, I am, because I'm drinking cold coffee, Bustelo Frio. This show's been sponsored by Cafe Bustelo. No, I wish it was. Come on, Cafe Bustelo, just sponsor my shit. I know, man. I don't know why they're being so mean to us. But anyways, we'll be right
We
back.
should probably talk about that after the break. The Sergeant Major that was busted to E4.
Oh,
after the break.
Yeah, after the break. We'll talk. As a matter of fact, we'll talk about busted people. How about that after the break, Aaron? We'll be more than happy to talk about it. Matter of fact, we'll talk about that CSM and that general that got busted down. And then there you go. So we'll be right back.
That lieutenant and that specialist. We'll talk about that when we get back.
Exactly. We'll be right back. Shots.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Take it from me, Ice. You can't just float around space not caring about stuff forever.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Shit in the bag, Pope.
I am here determined to stop this future atrocity.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots. And we're back. Dollar bills, Jim. Dollar bills. Dollar, make it holla. I'm not saying that I've attended those types of establishments, but I heard. I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express. Welcome back to Sergeant's Time Part 2. Broadcasting from the Functional Veterans Center of Excellence. this 17 June 2021. Feel that bass, son. Anyways, so the next story we're going to talk about is about people getting reduced and slammed, all this shit. The story that you're talking about, that CSM, I have not seen anything mainstream about it. Have you, Spanky? Have you seen anything about it?
Absolutely not, and that is the problem.
Have we not seen anything on Army Times or Military Times?
This should be what Sergeant Major of the Army Grinson is tweeting out.
Is he?
No, this should be it. Like, when senior leaders are finally held accountable for their actions, this is the kind of things that the soldiers need to see.
Right.
We talked about earlier, you know, like everybody's stuff is posted, like all the Article 15s and stuff is posted, like in the common area near the company. This needs to be posted.
Maybe that's what we need. Maybe the Army Times should. You know how the soldiers have the unit bulletin boards. Maybe the command sergeant majors. Maybe the senior Army leaders should be posted. It should be posted on Army Times.
For the exact same reason that we were talking about. You know, like the reason why Article 15 should, you know, the PII is redacted.
Right.
That's fine. But those soldiers that are supposed to learn the lesson from somebody, you know, messing up need to see this. They need to see the generals, and they need to see the sergeant majors, and they need to see the senior leaders that have messed up. And again, you can redact the PII except for the, you know, the rank. And, you know, they say, oh, well, that you can, like, identify them. Yeah, I know. You can identify if it's just the one corporal. Well, that's not a thing anymore because there's going to be 500 corporals. But you can identify, you know, like the people that know what's going on in the unit. I get it. You can identify them. And you should. Like, I'm not down for, you know, if you're found guilty for something, being able to hide behind, oh, don't talk about me. Yeah, no, I'm going to talk about you, dude. We're going to talk about you right now. I'm sorry, specialist.
So go ahead. Since you're handling the J1 side of the stuff, what is not being reported?
What is not being reported is that the sergeant major of Wynn Army Community Hospital in Stewart, Quincy Martin, I'll say his name, was demoted to the rank of specialist and is in confinement. Okay, so what you can go find out is that he's confined. Like, that's public record. But, like, where's the story? It's like, hey, Jim Laporta, Mr. Like, get a story on this. I get it. You know, they got lots of things to do stories on. But he was found guilty, you know, supposedly under 10 articles of the UCMJ, and he was convicted of rape. That was just one.
Well, it was like abusive sexual contact is what I heard.
Yes.
Yeah, he was convicted of. Not rape, though. I mean, it's.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I mean, but it's.
Conduct.
But what is the difference between abusive sexual contact and rape? Isn't that like semantics a little bit? I mean, I'm
gonna take a wild guess that they couldn't prove like a penetrative type of assault.
Gotcha. No, I gotcha.
So
I gotcha.
Abusive sexual conduct.
So, how come this hasn't been busted out? Because the only sergeant major, if you look up command sergeant major in the Army Times, if you go into their search, you talk about the new command sergeant major, Command Sergeant Major Veronica Knapp. She's the new CSM for 101st. We have the SFAB squadron command sergeant major killed in an insider attack. They have that story. A lot of like command sergeant majors or sergeant majors, you know, something sound fucked up, all dying and shit.
Sergeant majors are doing
great things, and you know, selections of new sergeant majors. Sergeant major, you know, freaking, you're talking about the new sergeant majors, talking about the new uniforms. Selects brigade command sergeant majors, blah blah blah. It just you know, command sergeant majors for special operations. You know, there was a. The last one we saw was a sergeant major. It was Sergeant Major Perez. That was we talked about. That was sentenced for inappropriate relationship and indecent language. That was, but it wasn't sergeant major. It wasn't this other sergeant major that was being talked about. This one here.
Yeah.
This other one here is a Fort Carson sergeant major. And he was sentenced for inappropriate relationship and improper language, indecent language. Look,
I don't care about your indecent language. I'm sure that all gets tacked on when you do something way worse. Than
right. It's like stacked. Right. Exactly. If you're, I think it's like a stacked charge or something like that. Normally, but he was 179 days of confinement, reduction to sergeant first class, and a written reprimand. And he was inappropriate relationship with a subordinate and sending indecent text messages to another woman. So, but this other sergeant major, this one that we're talking about, you can't find anything on this.
I absolutely cannot, and I can find that he was, incarcerated,
right,
for at least a minute at a time, because that's all usually public record,
right.
And if like I'll just say, for instance, here in Fort Hood, there's no stockade here on Hood no more. You go down to Bell County.
Yeah.
And if you're in Bell County, you can be found online.
Man, I wish we still had Charlie Chicken's farm, man. I wish we had. Yeah. I wish we had like, okay, well, Sergeant Major so and so, what's up, Ben? I see you in there. What was that? America has done solid half of America has sold half of. Hey Ben, wrong show, wrong chat. This is not what we're talking about here. We're, that conversation here is in the wrong one. Yeah, the 35th Signal Brigade Commander relieved too. You're amazed that you're the only one here, but we see you, Ben. Don't worry, man. We got you. But no, we're just trying to find out. Yeah, exactly. Charlie's Chicken Farm had the best around, dude. This is the best. I mean, they had the best. They had the best floors. You could get bags of sandbag free, filled up.
But what my problem with the Charlie Chicken Farm is, these were all hidden even more than. Like, for instance, this sergeant major we're just talking about that was busted on specialist. Like, that's not on any mainstream media. That's not this. Like, the only thing I could actually verify, being just a civilian with, some Google type tools, is that yes, he was incarcerated and had some charges.
Right.
So if there was still a Charlie Chicken Farm, nobody will know that, and it'll be so much easier for everybody to keep all these senior leaders mishaps under nobody needs to know about it.
Right. No, I got you.
That's why I'm against it.
Well, I mean, Charlie's Chicken Farm, I think should be like now entering Charlie's Chicken Farm, Sergeant Major so and it should be announced. Yeah, it should be like in today's and kind of like how those sheriffs, like what was his name, Sheriff Grady Judd down in freaking Florida, how he he goes and busts people out. And there should be like the commandant of Charlie Chicken's farm should be going like, hey, all right, for today we have new patrons coming in. Today we have Sergeant Major so and so. As a matter of fact, Charlie's Chicken Farm should be for senior enlisted and above, and I guarantee it, you won't have any issues. And that'll be like a lesson to fucking the juniors to go, oh shit. You know what I mean? So it's be like,
I'm not gonna fuck around now.
Yeah, I mean, like, welcome.
I'm not gonna touch anybody I'm not supposed to be touching.
Exactly. And then have it.
Anybody I shouldn't be texting.
Have it open it up like I said, just like almost, I don't want to say like a gentleman's club, but it'd be like, oh right, ladies and gentlemen, here we have Sergeant Major's going, and here we are rocking the club right now. We entering Charlie's Chicken Farm. We have Sergeant Major. You know what I mean? Just like do it like that. Post it on Facebook. Post it on that, and it's like there's nothing wrong. And see, that's the thing. That transparency shit that people are talking about. It's almost like the Army's afraid of saying that we're holding people accountable. There's nothing. Who's in? I'm gonna say right now. Who gave the Army the impression that it was bad to say that we're hemming fuckers up?
I mean, no matter where you look, there's bad apples. Obviously, the Army's going to have some. So fix it. Fix it publicly. Fuck. I don't understand. They don't let me be in charge of the SHARP program because I'll fix it.
No, you're definitely, yeah, you're SHARP qualified like a motherfucker. Yeah, exactly. There's just, I mean, again, if we're not, I don't know, it just seemed lately, it used to be, there must have been some, I'm trying to find out where the intersection was of us, all of us, the Army going, I'm not going to talk about it right now. Let's be quiet, and then just be like, shh, quiet. Just be quiet. Don't say nothing. And then
you want to. My opinion of it is nobody wants to say anything about it because they've all fucked up.
Right, well, they've all fucked up in the process.
They might
what you're
have
saying?
been you should go to jail for 10 years, fuck up.
Right.
But find me somebody that has not done anything wrong. I've done shit wrong. But I am not scared of the shit I've done wrong. Like, I will blast that on social media myself. My old soldiers can blast it on, themselves. I'm not going to jail for the shit I fucked up with. I learned from my mistakes and grew from it. I'm not touching anybody I shouldn't be touching, texting anybody I shouldn't be texting, type of things. But I have fucked up, and I would be the first to admit it.
Yeah,
it just wasn't shit that would be under the UCMJ.
No, I would, yeah. And I think, Charles got a good point. The problem is the upper echelons of the Army leadership still much good old boys, plug any wrongdoings or swept on the rug, and offer retirement instead of confinement, and the junior enlisted do the same thing as front page news. And it is. I mean,
it is.
I'll be honest with you. I think that if the Army would just say fuck it, we're gonna allow it. I mean, some crimes that have been convicted, and these guys have been convicted, and they're just almost like a docket. I mean, you used to be able to read fucking Army Times anyways back in the day. I think didn't they have people like who got busted and shit next to the in and out calls in Army Times?
Yeah, or the stateside swaps.
Stateside swaps, yeah. It would be like you'd see like somebody getting reduced or something like that before they started posting a lot of lists and shit. I was like, when did all of a sudden who was it that said it was a bad idea to go, well, it's not a good idea because, blah, blah, blah. Take, for instance, this next individual we're going to talk about. This is a fucking general officer. This is a 2-star general who pleaded guilty to sexually abusing his daughter, still has a military pension.
He absolutely does.
Last month, the retired Army General Major General James Grazioplan was demoted to second lieutenant after pleading guilty in the civilian court to sexually abusing his daughter when she was a child. However, he was still allowed to continue receiving his retirement benefits, albeit a much lower rank. And they were like wondering why he wasn't stripped. Everyone's wondering why the hell wasn't he stripped of all of his benefits? But an existing federal law does not give the Department of Defense or the Army the authority to take away all of Grazioplan's Grazioplan's. I don't know how to fucking pronounce his name.
I don't either.
I don't care. Benefits because he's just now a fucking lieutenant. I really don't fucking respect lieutenants. You might get
but it just goes back to what I was mentioning before, that it's a lot harder to put an officer out than it is, a soldier.
Right, because he was not convicted and dismissed as a result of a court-martial. Experts say is the reason why he didn't get his pension fucking taken away. According to federal law, civilian criminal conviction generally does not impact a military pension of retiree. Army spokesman Lieutenant Colonel Gabriel Ramirez said that in a rare exception, such as a criminal conviction for treason, espionage, and sabotage, which prohibit the retiree from receiving retired pay. Retired. I can't even talk right now because really freak. I put Bailey's Irish cream in my fucking coffee right now, so I'm getting kind of tongue tied. It's part of being dismissed. You're dropped from the rolls and no longer an officer, a retired officer drawing pay. Which Lieutenant Colonel Rachel Van Langham, a former military attorney who teaches at the Southwestern Law School in Los Angeles. The military doesn't have any legal authority to dismiss Grazioplan administratively, and the military's highest court has made it possible for the Army to court-martial him. Now, if he was still in, right? His case shows how difficult it is for the military to court-martial retirees. His daughter first told Army investigators in 2015 that he abused her for a 15-year period, starting when she was 3 years old. The Army attempted to prosecute him under the UCMJ that he alleged raped a child in the 1980s, even though he retired in 2005. But in 2018, a U.S. Court of Appeals for the Armed Forces ruled that rape charges have a 5-year statute of limitation. And under a very poorly worded law passed by Congress decades earlier, that led to the Army to dismiss charges, but he was indicted for incest and rape in Virginia. Federal law requires that a commissioned officer be retired at the highest grade which he served, satisfactory for at least 6 months. They looked into
he didn't fuck up as a lieutenant on paper, at least.
Right, at least. So they looked into the allegations of sexual assault started. That means that it started at some point where he was a second lieutenant for 6 months. Absent of a court-martial conviction, the military does not have the power to take away his commission as an officer because he's retired. It's almost like...
All right.
And so... Marine Lieutenant Colonel Solis, a former military judge, and lawyer, said, I quote, "I have little doubt that if it were left to any superior officer, gradually upon second lieutenant's commission would have also been revoked. But such a loss of grade can only be carried out by a court-martial ratified by Congress, and Congress appoints officers to the military grades, and only Congress can nullify their appointments." Going back to what you said, going back to what Jason said about the...
You can't just kick an officer.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
So my question is, and I was not able to find that, is he now getting paid a retirement as a second lieutenant?
Correct. He's getting paid as a lieutenant.
Does that change?
No, he's still getting paid.
And does it get like backdated to like his conviction?
I think it would be from what the conviction was. So like starting, it would be like if he got reduced. I'm guessing. I'm only guessing. I don't know. It would probably be.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I want to know.
If he would be getting
it. When does his second lieutenant retiree pay take effect? And does he owe back pay from getting, a general's retirement pay compared to a second lieutenant?
Right.
And or and I would never think that's enough punishment for raping a fucking child.
Right, exactly.
Even just inappropriately looking at a child, like fuck you.
You know what tripped me out though is that also asked another question, and that law has actually protected individuals too, of not coming after you after you retired, because then we're kind of. I'm not talking about that for that type of offense, but for other offenses under the UCMJ. That for instance, somebody who's retired like yourself or me, and we start dropping fucking memes on somebody's fucking Facebook page. Are we violating the fucking... Yeah, exactly. Are we violating the Army social media policy where they can go ahead and try to get us and slam us for UCMJ? You know what I mean? That's kind of like for other shit. But this right here, I think it'd be an exception. It'd be like, murder, rape, or something like that you'd fucking have to get your...
Well, murder has no statute of limitations,
Correct.
Period.
Correct.
And I think, like I said, that's what they changed to, go after this general, is they changed like statute limitations on rape, but they couldn't like backdate it, I guess. So that's why he was, he was a pretty good lieutenant.
Right.
He didn't rape anybody. He didn't rape his kid.
Yeah, exactly. At that time,
lieutenant, like the first 6 months. So that's why he's still lieutenant. It's still fucking bullshit, and I think that is what we need to fix. Is like senior, like I said, the soldiers and stuff. It's out there.
Right.
Like you can go look up on any major post, like Facebook page, and figure out like what is Phantom Justice going on, what is Destiny Justice going on, what is the Rock of the Mars Justice going on. You can find all of that.
Rock Justice.
So they need to be just as open with that with the senior leaders that are, and I think that. It's not going to fix anything, but it might deter a lot of things.
I think so too. No, you're right. I think it will. I think it'll deter a lot of crap, because one of the biggest things that pisses me off is how sometimes things that you're supposed to fucking like. The thing that used to piss me off that I used to hear is that when someone gets, I'm not saying anything about people who get DUIs are bad or anything like that, because mistakes fucking happen and all that, and some laws are really fucking strict on DUIs. I'm not talking about you being sloshed and drunk. Exactly that, Gary. Fucking 100%. Is that I have seen individuals that gotten sloppy drunk, got in an accident, and got a DUI, and because it didn't happen, the excuse, it didn't happen on post, that they like fucking, that was it. That whatever charges that they have for the civilian court is a little bit lenient, or if they didn't hurt nobody. You know what I mean? It's almost like, okay, so then what about when somebody has to put in a clearance packet update and they got to put a DUI? You know what I mean? It's just that whole fucking thing. It's like that whole, it used to be back in the day, well, you can't be like a double jeopardy. It used to be that you would even say, I mean, fuck, when we're coming up in the ranks.
I mean, when we were coming up, if you didn't have at least two Article 15s, how are you going to be a good sergeant major? I remember those ones. Like, I was lucky.
You would hear, you first started like, God damn, that guy was in Vietnam. We got busted a couple times. Yeah. Oh, okay. You know what I mean? Holy shit. So what's funny is that I don't see. It should be like this. If it's for a lesser crime, then yeah, of course, like a fucking speeding ticket or something like that. Of course, have the fucking civilian. But for a heavier, it should be like, no. We got jurisdiction over this shit. We got this. You know what I mean? That's where I'm kind of wondering, where should the law step in and all that. I'm not a lawyer. But I'm just not gonna fucking real life gunning highway.
I guess but I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. But I did, stay at a Holiday Inn Express. But I do know the fact that if you got fucking busted and did something, and it's just like the fucking movies, right? Well, you see, I'm gonna call your fucking sergeant major, and the cop calls up, and then like the military's like, we'll handle it, and then that's it. They get fucking handled, and then you hear them getting busted. They get court-martialed for doing this, and the famous, I always like seeing the conduct unbecoming when it comes to an NCO. There's no such thing as conduct unbecoming for a fucking NCO. I just think it's funny when you hear that shit.
Conduct this.
Yeah, the enlisteds do not have conduct. Yes, indubitably smashing. The enlisteds are being very. There must be. But again,
they're riling up over there.
They must be getting right. The enlisteds are riling up the riffraff.
We're not gentlemen.
Yeah, exactly. We're not gentlemen. So I think that when it comes to something like this, that's when the military should say, ass is coming back in from retirement. And as a matter of fact, we're going to court-martial you. You know what I mean? That should be the exception for something like that. Then I could see fucking, I could really fucking see it being an issue where they get the rank taken away, he gets fucking court-martialed, and he gets slammed, and he gets thrown in jail, and good to go. We're happy, la-di-da-di, everybody. And justice is served, right? Bring him to justice. His ass won't get away with W. But that's just me. But also it'll highlight something that I just didn't realize is that you guys like to talk shit on freaking social media. I will throw hands now because I don't have to worry about my retirement getting taken away. Never fear, never taunt an individual who doesn't fear fucking prison. Okay, my career is done. I don't. What are you gonna do? Throw me
in prison? I get a break.
You put me exactly that. You put me in prison, baby. Ass will be okay. Wait, I got 3 square. And I get some alone time. Hell yeah. You know what I mean? So, but I mean, joking aside, that's the way I think it should be done. It should be like an exception for that, but obviously, I'm not Congress. I'm not part of the legal system. I don't know. It's just whatever. What's the next one? What was the next one? What's the next story we're gonna talk about? There was another one that had.
Oh, we got a few.
We got a few stories. What was the next one here? We had. Okay, this is another one from our friends over at Task and Purpose. Check this out. This is a story about a pregnant soldier. It says, hey, you need to show up and do some training, and go. Well, she shows up to training, and she just shows up, and the unit's doing training, and she just sits in the armory.
Oh, we're talking about the Oregon people.
Yeah, we're talking the Oregons. Yes, the Oregons enlisteds. The ungentlemanly. A pregnant specialist in the Oregon National Guard is back home today after staying in her unit army for an unclear amount of time while her battalion was gone for annual training this week. According to an Instagram post on Wednesday night, a soldier with the 41st Infantry Brigade combat team told her leadership that she was pregnant before annual training began on Sunday, and when she provided them a letter from her doctor saying that she could hang out in Casa de Armory. I don't even know what the fuck that means. Quote, unquote, no shit. So she can hang out in Casa de Armory. Pues. By Thursday afternoon, the post had gotten the attention of Sergeant Major of the Army Grinson, who commented, terrible story. I'm working with the National Guard Bureau Command Sergeant Major to fix it. And Lieutenant Colonel Pete Wood, commander of the brigade's 2nd Battalion 162 Infantry Regiment, confirmed some of the details of that post. He was then notified on Wednesday that a female specialist staying in the battalion's armory while the battalion was out conducting training. I learned, quote the colonel, quote Pete Wood, Colonel Wood, I quote, I learned that I was there while I was there that a soldier within the medical platoon confirmed that the soldier was pregnant and was living or staying at the armory. I immediately took action and ordered that soldier sent home. At least that happened.
I'm impressed.
Oh yeah, for the National Guard,
pregnant people can be treated.
Right. Oh yeah.
When it comes to making numbers.
Exactly.
Or profile people. Period.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you're on crutches? Gotta go. Wood said within hours, another soldier who wasn't in annual training had driven to the armory to pick up the specialist, and she was home by early Thursday morning. And said her company leadership is brand new after taking command in March. And they had a little bit of a miscommunication on what the right thing to do is.
It does not lock up your pregnant soldier in the arms room. There
What
you
we-
go.
what are we supposed to do?
You can keep tabs on
Yeah,
the pregnant soldier and make sure she doesn't leave the arms room. But how about all these weapons?
First, aren't we supposed? What do you think we need to do this? Oh, just like I don't know. I don't know. Fly casual. Put her in the fucking army. put her in the army.
Stick her in the arms.
Stick her. Yeah.
Accountability.
Yeah. Did you hear that? Yeah, exactly. Did you see that AP article with James Laporta? Put her in the arms room.
We gotta keep accountability of our pregnant soldiers. Go do this, and this. Like all of our profiles, just shove them in the arms room. There's the MREs and maybe you don't want to
Exactly. Sensitive experimental MREs too. At that. So they had. Colonel Wood said that they had the right intentions in mind, but they wanted to make sure the soldier was still able to receive her annual training pay. So yeah, it was a miscommunication on what was authorized as far as being able to stay within the Army. So I'm guessing she was probably like considered like Rear D.
Yeah, and I get.
And she
where,
wasn't
like,
supervised.
Some unexperienced leadership could say, "Well, you have to be here to get paid." Like I can see this because I'm not knocking any reserves or National Guardists. And I can kind of see this as like, oh, well, we would like her to get, credit for her drill time. Like, we don't need her to just stay at home, but locking her in the arms room with like an MRE is not the answer.
Well, I mean,
there's some like give and take with it.
Well,
like,
there
there's
is
some retraining that needs to happen.
Well, it would be like if there was somebody in the rear, and that's another thing. A soldier who's not attending AT went to go pick her up. So why didn't they just put that in? So that means was that soldier getting paid too? You know what I mean? That means it would.
I don't know exactly how it works, but
right?
I'm sure they could figure out a way for her to be a productive member of the unit and still be able to grow a baby.
Just show up to work. Fucking come in, make sure these reports are knocked out or something like that.
Yeah,
make sure
like
you could be
needs to be done.
Yeah. There's some filing that can happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She makes it sound like she was locked in the fucking room and they just put the chain on the fence and they're like, bye priggers, and that
I really need like a lot more detail with this. But
yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
At all. They just wouldn't.
No, for Sergeant, put her in the arms room because of fucking the AP article.
Because it's so secure. Nobody can, bury her. Sorry, I gotta stop.
So Wood said that the specialist told her commander she was pregnant just last week, but still tried to get the details on what happened and had told the soldier to agree to the plan. But when he said there's likely bail option available, it was like doing AT later in the year or doing something closer to home. It's unclear if the specialist had been staying in the Armory since Sunday, since the unit left for training. Wood believes that she went home after 1 or 2 days and still trying to figure out how many nights she spent in the Army, where she's sleeping on the couch, or like the Instagram post she said, or was she driving all the way home? The soldier lives 2 hours from the Army. Man, what the fuck, dude?
That happens all the time in the Guards and the Reserves. They live.
The Instagram post, one Instagram, oh my God, this is no shit. This is while the Instagram post said the soldier was given, quote, 2 MREs, one for her and one for the baby. Oh my God, Spanky, you were right. Wood said he could not confirm those details. The incident comes as the Army continues to build cohesive teams and pushes its people first initiative, which boils down to soldiers looking out for one another and leaders caring for their people in the Army. I'm just kidding. NCOs own the culture of our units, and it's time for our senior NCOs to identify the root causes of problems and take ownership and then really get to work, Sergeant of the Army said while at Fort Eustis today or yesterday. When did he say this? Just like he was being stated.
It's been recently because I really had to hold my tongue. I'm like, dude, you're the one that really is like in charge of all of the, the beans,
bullets, sergeanting, major billets of things. Yeah. Would emphasize that the chain of command in Oregon cares about our soldiers, and we want to make sure our soldiers had been taken care of. Though, admittedly, it probably didn't appear that way in the social media post. Obviously, I had a long and lengthy conversation with the command team last night and again this morning. So we will continue to mentor our new command teams. Unquote. From our friend Haley Brisky over at fucking Task and Purpose, once again knocking it out of the park with them stories.
I just will put this out for all reserve brand new command teams and National Guard command teams. Listen to Sergeant's Time.
Yeah, exactly. Well, not to mention the fact, the thing is that we also have. Being in the reserve side, I have friends in the Guard and Reserve too, and then usually for people who can't can't fucking go out. pregnant soldiers, they give them like a hotel room or some shit like that, and like you said, they just come to work and they do rear D stuff, and then they work and then they take off. You know what I mean? It's just almost like that's their AT location, and then they go home at the end of the AT location. So that way, when the unit gets back, she's there for like the recovery, the formations. You know what I mean? That type of shit.
I mean, there is so much work that needs to be done that pregnant females can do for your unit. So you just don't need to lock them up in the arms room and just
Right, exactly. So, man, the last story we have. This is a pretty good story. This is the last story we got, and it is it's about the renaming of Fort Hood. This is cool because I have been pretty much all over social media talking about what we want to do when it comes to suggesting the names of military installations that have named for Confederate generals to have their name changes. And then we had a show a few weeks back. Me and Spanky had a show. What would we do if we were in charge? What would we name the installations? Well, Fort Hood may be one of the first military installations to have its name changed. And there was a naming commission on Wednesday that showed up to talk to civic leaders. And the League of United Latin American Citizens put forward 2 Latino candidates that they say exemplify what the military stands for. We understand that it would be difficult to have to change, but matter of fact that there is going to be change. The LULAC believes that Master Sergeant Roy Benavides or Major General Richard Cavazos would be a great choice. Now, we know, I mean, we even named it. We even had a story.
We renamed it ourselves.
We renamed Fort Hood ourselves. Put them shits up there. There we go. We had our intrepid graphics people, concept artists, and storyboardists, social media experts come up with, if we were to name Fort Hood, we would name it Fort Benavides. That'd just be it. Special Forces veteran and a Texan. Benavides and Cavazos are both from Texas. Benavides served in Vietnam. He was a Green Beret and received the Medal of Honor from President Reagan. Garcia and Benavides' time in Vietnam, Reagan read like a damn movie. He was wounded 37 times by bullets, bayonets, and shrapnel and still survived. He was so badly wounded after the engagement where he saved multiple U.S. soldiers under under heavy fire. He was literally put in a body bag, and he had to spit at the doctor so the body bag wouldn't be closed to tell him that he was alive. Cavazos was a 4-star general who served in both Korea and Vietnam, and he received 2 Distinguished Service Crosses and was the first Mexican-American general to serve in the U.S. We believe whoever is chosen will be somebody that our current men and women in uniform can be proud of our values and proud of their service and be proud of what they stand for when they come through the gates. And this is from National LULAC President Domingo Garcia. There you go. Go ahead. What you got?
No, I will say, because, I am here local. I live in the Fort Hood area, and I see everything that goes on local news station comments and everything. I do think, the one comment I see over and over again, fuck all those people oh, it costs money to change this. Yeah, we know that. We have a Bernie Beck gate and TG Mills Boulevard instead of Hood Road and the main gate. I get that. I'm not worrying about the money thing. What I do think, and the comments that I give, credence to or whatever, is that just changing the name is not fixing anything.
Right.
And I think that is the one thing I see from so many people locally. It's still the hood, is the way people here think of it. So those comments and you can change the name from Hood because nobody in this generation thinks of Hood as General Bell Hood.
No.
Or, whoever he was. I don't remember exactly. I will. It'll take me a second. But nobody, associates Hood with that Confederate general. They associate Hood with the Hood.
Right, exactly.
So
no, that's a good point.
That's where the local comments are coming from, is putting a new name on it is not going to fix the problems here. Because I'm all for renaming it. I am. But...
Yeah.
And they're right. Just putting a new name at the front gate and welcome to Fort Benavides instead of welcome to the Great Place is not going to fix the problems that are here and throughout the Army.
Yeah,
I know it's not just a hood problem.
Right. I pissed off some boomers, man, when I fucking... somebody was commenting and no, you better leave it alone and how come this and how come that, and then I dropped that picture right there, and Jesus Christ, dude, you'd have thought I freaking man, you thought I got people mad at me saying I didn't care about vets, didn't care about this, didn't care about that. I'm like, you hate vets, and here we go. No, leave it up. Leave it up. I mean,
like I said, I have no problem renaming it, but I do think, like I said, the local community really, like, these are soldiers, these are civilians.
Right.
These are like people like me that first got stationed here. This was like, well, it's my secondary station. Like, this is home to me.
Right.
And I do agree with, like, just putting a new name is not going to fix shit. Like, go with, fix the problems.
Right.
Here
Do you think
that I know are not just hood problems?
Do you think that was because it got too big? You notice that there's, I don't know, it just seems like there's smaller communities and smaller installations. You rarely hear about shit like this. You know what I mean?
Oh, no, I know. I completely understand that, because I am sure that the shit that happens at Hood happens every post-wide.
Right.
It just, there's so much more of it here because we're a larger population. And especially, with what happened to Vanessa, like, her parents, her mother and her siblings are like, no, you are not going to just push this aside. We're going to change something.
Right.
And I don't disagree that shit needs to be changed.
Right.
I don't even disagree with, like, renaming it after Hood, but just changing the name is not going to fix anything.
Right. No,
That's
you're
how
right.
I feel about it.
No, you're right. Good point. So that right there, that's my nice suggestion. As soon as Fort Hood, as soon as I saw that thing posted on all the interwebs, hell yeah, I fucking dropped that Benavides right there. Only because General Cavazos, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with General Cavazos, but I had my heart set on either or is going to be good, but I had my heart set on General Cavazos because he's
And we have too many posts named after generals. Yeah. Well, let's leave it to it.
Or I was about to say freaking dude, he's General Cavazos is a badass too, but he's a general, and this will be the first, like, I don't think we have any SORNs, any posts, any installations named after a SORN, do we? Any NCOs?
I don't think so, but I'm about to research that before next Thursday.
What is it? Yeah, okay, yeah. I'll post that picture up. But hang on, someone's gonna ask me, hey, who is this General Cavazos? Let me post his picture up there too. So at least we're name the base after a specialist. Yeah, well, I was gonna say,
might as well.
Yeah, exactly. That would be kind of fucking funny. They name a soldier after a specialist. The enlisteds once again, shit talking. So
that's what they do.
That's what they do. So yeah, exactly. So there's General Cavazos.
Oh, we're the enlisteds too.
Yeah, we're enlisted too. So General Cavazos is a badass too, man. They're both badasses. He's like a Korean War war veteran and a Vietnam veteran. He's got a freaking second award for this combat infantryman's badge. When fuckers really getting at it. 2 Distinguished Service Cross, man. That's like a big thing too. It's not like a. It's not like a fucking. It's not. You just don't get Distinguished Service Crosses for, like, well, yeah, whatever. He got one in Korea and one in Vietnam. So badass, dude. That's just badass. So.
And he isn't the first Mexican American.
Yes, to reach
general?
the rank. Yep, to reach the rank of Brigadier General in the U.S. Army, and then in 1980 he was the commander of 3 Corps. So he was the one that led some of the big changes in Corps, and then all of a sudden, in the same year after he made history by being the first 4-star general, he also assumed the command. I think forces command or something like that. So, yeah, it's he freaking he was getting at it too. So either or, General Cavazos, Fort Specialist badass. Good night, Chelsea. All in cash for Fort Benning, exactly that. But anyways, let's see what else. Fort Klinger. Name it for a specialist. I don't know who you name it for though. At any rate, so Fort ShamWow. So with that, it's time to break out the pledge, man.
Lemon pledge.
It's time to break that
lemon pledge right here.
Ready to go with the pledge. So we have some guests that are coming out tomorrow. I mean, now that CQ, he did a little surprise video saying that he's not going to do a show, and he snuck out. He flew out of the States. He took off. He's like, "Oh, I'm out here."
We don't have all that paperwork where you got to go through us too.
Right. Yeah.
CQ says I need a day off. Hey,
I need a day off. Yeah. Hi.
I didn't need to check his passport. Or
yeah,
his
exactly. It didn't check his
VidVax.
Of his VidVax, exactly. We're like, oh, okay, yeah, take it easy. Next thing you know, I'm in Puerto Rico. I'm on the beach. So on the 22nd next week, we have Rob Paulson, the voice actor, will be on Pop Culture Warrior to talk about his voice experiences in Hollywood, his experiences in voice acting in Hollywood, and some of his work includes Raphael and Donatello from the 1987 and 2012 animated series, respectively. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that's what I'm talking about. Yakko Warner, or Dr. Otto Scratch and Sniff from Pinky and Animaniacs, and also Pinky and the Brain. He's Pinky from Pinky and the Brain. Carl Reiser from Johnny Neutron, Boy Genius, and its spin-off television series, The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius. Peck, the Rooster from Barnyard and its spin-off television series, Back in the Barnyard, and Spike. Spike, if you did not watch Land Before Time and you don't remember Spike, watch Land Before Time, and yeah. And a television series too. And also the title character for the Masked animated series. And in total, he's had over 250 different animated characters and performed over in 1,000 commercials and received a Daytime Emmy Award for Outstanding Performer in Animated Program and 3 Annie Awards for his role as Pinky. The 25th of June is going to be Cause's guest on Friday Night Freedom. Rodney Henry, he's going to be coming to talk about his show Freedom Fest that he has going on at VFW Post 6770, the Fred Calloway Post. And he's going to talk about how COVID has affected and cancellation of 2020's events and how it's going to affect 2021's event and how things are starting to get back to more normal. God, you ain't lying, dude, for real. 2020 just jacked everybody up. One of the important milestones of this year's Freedom Fest is also will be the celebration of the VFW Fred Calloway Post 6770's 75th anniversary. And then on the 26th, it's a Saturday. I'm gonna be a guest. I'm gonna be a guest.
There's something special.
That's something. You know those kids that came on the Extra Duty podcast. I'm gonna be joining Extra Duty podcast on Saturday the 26th and hanging out with the Joes. I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea what they're gonna do. I think I'm gonna be on camera, right? Isn't that to be like the third time I've been on camera? Yeah,
that's part of the plan. Like I've been working this.
Yep. Yep. So they're all like. They're like really bringing out the Joe on you, right? They're like bugging you all the time. Are we there yet?
Oh yeah, it's okay. It's okay. They need confirmation and everything, and I am down. That is my job here, and Ice will be there on the Extra Duty podcast.
Yeah, exactly. I can't wait to see what it's all about. We follow them, and also since they've been on, I kind of listen to some of their shows. We support other military podcasters. And then on the 28th, that following Monday. We have Darianne Lay. She's a fan of the station. Country music singer will be on the Monday edition to talk about her single 10,000 Miles, which tells a tale of military households and loved ones across the nation, derived from her own experience. Country Music Television has also pushed out some of her albums, and we're seeing about getting some of her music so we can play it too. So that'd be kind of cool. But other than that, don't forget, tomorrow should be like a 4-day weekend for everybody, right? Or should be a Donza. Oh, shit.
Oh. Shut it down. Shut it down.
It should be a day off tomorrow for you guys, but if you have time to tune into, or you have a chance to tune into a Friday Night Freedom with Cause and Pookie, make sure you do 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And of course, Monday edition on Mondays with myself and Mom or you guys or Kaz or whoever. And then Tuesday is Pop Culture Warrior with Michael Carrasquillo, also known as CQ, with the unpop cultured co-host Radar. And then Wednesday's a day off, and Thursday is back to Sergeant's time. again. So thank you. Yeah, with us. So you guys and gals, thank you so much for hanging out tonight. And we're looking forward to to seeing you guys out and about. And let me see. What do we have? I guess there's a message that was put out. Did Morgan put out a message? Everyone's saying that Morgan put out a message.
Did they miss the Morgan message?
I guess. Hang on. Let me look. I don't know. I don't see it. I guess there was a. I guess I don't know. Never mind. So we didn't do screenshot madness, of course, because we just showed you some shit.
We gave you all the madness.
We gave you all the madness. Exactly. But thank you guys and gals again for listening, and of course, y'all have a good night and have a good weekend. And shouts. Shots.
Hey, this is SEAC retired John Wayne Troxel. You're listening to WTF Nation Radio, the station of choice for all of the badass MFers on the planet.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Intergalactic horse, and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. Now they say that they've discovered life up there on Mars, so let's blow it all to hell and then claim it for ours. We'll paint the moon red, white, and blue for no other reason than we wanted to. Oh, Jupiter, imagine what you could become. A stupid, pointless planet turned into a giant gun. And Russia, so sorry, have to burst your bubble. Be a good sport now, sit back, relax, and watch us through the hubble as we celebrate the greatness of the United Planet of America. Space Force, Space Force. We'll saddle up our intergalactic horse and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. We'll go to infinity and beyond, beyond. You'll hear our manly voices singing Space Force strong. The critics say sound doesn't travel in space, to which we reply sound will do as we say. Oh, Captain Kirk, your achievements, though notable and fine, as far as we're concerned, this is Deep Space Mine. And big fans, but Lord Vader, step away from the lightsaber. There can only be one, of course. Space Force. Ra-da-da-da-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum-dum-dum-dum, ra-da-da-da-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Dum. Space Force, Space Force. We'll saddle up our intergalactic horse and we'll ride into the sun. Yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.